Hello, iSing subscribers and family out there. It's Denosh Bennett again here with the video portion of The Working Singer. And we are live in the studio here in LA, in the recording studio, and I am with these three amazing vocalists who I feel are the real voices of The Voice. Now, just to be clear, there's the original Voice in Holland, there's The Voice in the UK, there's even La Voce, I think, now in Latin America. But we are talking about NBC's The Voice here in the United States of America. And so these guys are in the middle of season 7, and they've taken the time to meet with us and to share some of their amazing stories and secrets and maybe some things that we wouldn't see if we were watching the show. So will you guys just introduce yourselves? We'll start to the left.
Hello, my name is Steve. I'm Stevie Mackey, and I'm from Los Angeles, California.
Hi, I'm Kara Britz. I am originally from Virginia, but I was an LA transplant about 10 years ago. And
I'm Denise Janae. I'm from Pennsylvania, but I've lived here for about 6 years.
That's interesting. So the two of you are not originally from here, but you are part of this amazing thing. I do have a bunch of questions, but I like to you just spark something. How has that journey been for you? You've been here for 10 years, you said?
10 years, yeah.
Wow.
10 years in July it was, yeah. So it's been, it's been a struggle. But honestly, when I moved out here, everybody back home was like, oh my God, you're going to LA. Like, it's going to be so plastic and everything's going to be awful and they're going to hate you and all these things. And it hasn't. Yeah, but you know what? It hasn't been that way for me. Like, right. I got really lucky, and I don't know if it was just work ethic mixed with, like, just having my family to back me. I think that was a huge deal.
No, you do know.
Yeah. That support,
Yeah.
And it was definitely, like, I mean, I had rough years. Like, let's not be honest. It wasn't all, like, rose-colored. But, like, for me, all that work all cultivated into The Voice. Like, I was an audience coordinator at Jimmy Kimmel Live, and I met all the A2s and the stage managers that I see on The Voice daily, and it's like all these things contributed to this one show, and it all came together. So for me, it's been a cool process. I mean, a lot of hard work.
Paid off.
But it paid off. Who did it pay off? I mean, this is the gig of my life.
What about you? You've been here for 6 years, you said?
Going on 6 years. It was tough coming out. I actually did an internship via college, so I wasn't really all the way done with getting my degree, but I kind of used LA as a platform to see if I can do it.
Right.
It was more so kind of like me snooping around, like during the internship. So when I finished, I was kind of like flopping during the internship anyway.
Right.
Like I was not really going to my classes because I was worrying about seeing if I could get a job.
Right. Which is the point.
Yeah, I struggled. I mean, definitely times without a bed and was in an apartment. I had no idea how I was going to get the next month's rent. And, I mean, my mother trying to figure out how she could scrape money. Like, we were talking about fundraisers. I mean, it just was, it was kind of, it was tumultuous in the beginning. But, she said, it was worth it.
Let me interrupt you and I just want to go back before you actually, we started on The Voice season 2.
Season 2.
And then we had a rough start, and then we had to reset.
We got Stevie.
And then we added Stevie,
Absolutely.
which was like,
yay! Stevie's like having 9 singers in one.
It is. It's like the missing piece.
Job security.
The missing link in any situation.
And we were like, please, let me call. I know who to call.
Yeah,
I know
Denosh,
who to call.
man.
I was praying for that.
What a blessing.
I was praying for it. I didn't get it first, but I was. Then I got the call.
And so what were you? What I wanted to ask was, what were you doing? So then there was, and then I left, and then I want to know what you guys were doing before The Voice. Like it was season 2 and then season 3. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yeah. So what were you doing before The Voice?
I've been
What weren't you doing actually?
Right.
I was doing the same thing, like in my music hustle. That's what we do. Whatever we find in music, whatever the best thing that we love to do and that we're willing to fight for in music, we do.
This is the part where you get to brag. I want to hear your resume.
Come on.
No, I love to sing.
Dish.
I love to sing.
If you don't say it, I'm gonna say it.
But no, I've been a vocal coach for the past 8 years, and I've also sung background for a lot of people, and I love adjusting my voice to sing background. And I've sung background for some of my favorite people in the world, and Whitney Houston, Stevie Wonder.
Drop names. No, but you know what?
This is where you're allowed to drop them.
Okay, all right.
Them on out.
I'm just like, my favorite singers. My favorite singers I grew up listening to, I've sung for now, and I could mimic and I can learn from them, and I study them, and I've had the chance to meet.
And it's good. The reason why I ask is because it is inspiring. I mean, you know, there's a lot of people who are professional singers, but there are so many people who want to be here.
Absolutely.
They want to be in the studio. So it is nice to hear that type of stuff, because these are the dreams that we have. These are the people that we aspire to be. These are the people that we listen to, like you said, and you learn from. And you, right before this, were on tour with
Joe Cocker.
Joe Cocker, that's right.
Yeah, it was with Joe, which is crazy. So, you know, 10-year-old me was sitting in the back of my dad's car talking about, I'm going to sing backgrounds for Joe Cocker one day, thinking it would never work.
Wow.
So my dad, I forgot that happened, and my dad reminded me of it, and he was like, babe, this is crazy for me. And I remember, actually, because I had to quit Joe to do the voice. It was like the hardest decision I've ever had to make, you know, and he was so supportive. My dad was like crying. He's like, "Are you sure? Are you sure you do?" You know, he was a mess. But for me, it was huge. You know,
Those are dreams coming true.
That's what gave me the confidence to do this.
And I always say, speak it. I mean, you know, it may not manifest in the way that you want, but speak it. Speak it, and then go for it. And
work hard.
We bumped into you.
Oh my God!
You guys are all of you. First off, Stevie. None of this would be even a thought if it weren't for Stevie thinking about me to tell you,
Oh my
and then
God.
for y'all to be like, okay, let me see what this girl's about in Vegas. But
and then to bump into you and
that was crazy. That was crazy when
again.
you told
Yes,
It was crazy.
Again, being the missing piece. So at that time, were you on tour, or
I think we had just gotten off tour, but then we were doing some more spot dates. But I was with Mary at the time, Mary J, and that was kind of like this whole thing is surreal for me, because when I actually Stevie and I sang together for Stevie. You were like the only one who was pumped
Stevie
with
Wonder.
me.
I'm
Oh my
a
goodness.
translator.
Right, let's do
First
that.
off, when we showed up to the Stevie Wonder thing, I thought that my life was gonna end. Like, I didn't think I was gonna be able to do the session. And Steve, you held together, but you were feeding off me, because I was looking at everyone.
Sneakily, like recording everything on my phone in my pocket, and like sitting around the piano with Stevie Wonder. He's assigning me parts, like it's
Yeah,
church
he's
choir
telling us
rehearsal.
what we're doing.
Like
It
it's
just
praise
was
team
wild.
rehearsal.
It was
Like,
a surreal experience.
and he's just sitting there playing, like, oh yeah, he's saying this, and I'm like,
No one else was tripping out like we were. No one else.
I love,
But,
I hate to interrupt, but I love the fact that, I mean, this is just amazing, like, the amount of talent that's in this room, the opportunity.
Oh,
man.
See, you know, you had that opportunity, you guys met, and now you're on tour, or you're doing backing vocals with Mary J. Blige, and then now this all comes together.
Yeah.
Now, you guys only work twice a year, right? Or
We do two
Two
seasons a
seasons
year.
a
Yeah.
Yep.
what do you guys do? You said you're a vocal coach, so you're working with JoJo and Selena Gomez and the Jackson kids.
yeah,
and all kinds of
Amber
people.
Riley and the Jacksons.
Us, when you can squeeze us in.
No,
Right.
I work
All
with
of us.
my friends.
We're all coached by
I
Stevie.
I'm always lurking around that house. Like, maybe I could sit in the studio for an hour. Like, I just go and hang out now.
What are you
Yeah.
guys doing in between? How do you keep that?
Well, I'm going to start coaching.
Good.
Because I've been inspired. Stevie coaches me, and so does Dave Stroud. And so between the two of them, I've been totally inspired to coach more. So, like, it helps me stay home and chill. Yeah, I mean, you know, I was nervous, you know. I've had some vocal turbulence, to say the least. You know,
And
I've had
then is
nodules
that-
and surgery and
And Kara's a
hemorrhages.
natural.
But that's a way. That's a
But
way
let
to
me tell
even
you,
teach.
I know my voice so well now, and I know what I did wrong. You know, so it's, I'm working on
And
that.
you're a natural teacher.
So coaching, hopefully.
A natural teacher. That's
Yeah.
in you.
Well, we'll see. I'm gonna just keep listening to these guys, but then also vocal arranging and touring when I can.
Right.
You know, if the schedules work out, that's hard.
So you're pretty
when
much
they do.
full-time singers, coaches.
Full-time.
Oh, yeah.
Full-time.
You were recording.
Full-time.
You're working on a recording project.
Yes, on my
She's
own.
artist.
But furthermore, I mean, wow, that's kind of that's always
Well,
that's
lurking.
happening, right.
That's always
Right.
lurking.
Yeah.
But in order to make that immediate money, because it's like when you're doing that, you're investing money.
Of course.
And so while I'm trying to make money,
You have.
I'm working with other artists. I was able to go out with Usher in between The Voice. So I just recently came out with him. But also, I started teaching since I've been out here. Like, I have different students at times.
You
but
turned
it's
down
not,
a tour with Usher to stay on The Voice.
I did.
There's probably a lot of people that think
I
you're
did.
crazy.
Honestly,
I don't
some
think
do.
she's crazy. No one talk her out of
We
this.
some do. Some do.
We're
But
not
I
letting her go.
The workers and the MD and a lot of the band members, all of them were like, "Do we wish that we were in your position?" Yes.
Yes.
All of them are like, "We love you. We're gonna miss you, but God bless." Because all of them would love to be home.
Is that so? So I
Yeah,
want to get
home.
back to now that we know who we're talking to and know who you guys are, I really want to get back to the show. Because this show is like been, I mean, you're now going into season 8. I mean, amazing, has won awards.
Season 7.
Yes,
you know,
simultaneously.
the dream is to be able, we love to tour and we love to travel, but we also like to be home, right? And make that good money and build our pensions and our retirement fund and things like that.
Yeah.
What does your job entail, I mean, you know, at this point in the game, because it's getting deep, it's getting heavy. What does your job entail at The Voice?
Whew, where do we begin? Well, it's 7 days a week. We can start there.
That's true.
7 days, sometimes 8 days. They like to pull one out of the hat every now and again, where you're pulling an all-nighter. If you know, it's definitely a labor of love, but it's a very consistent, steady, awesome process that we've developed over the 7 years. There was a big learning curve, you know, I'd say. But for us, like, we walk in so fast now.
Right. I mean, you guys are doing everything. Obviously, we're here today in the recording studio, so you have to record all the backgrounds for the iTunes stuff. It has to go, like, immediately out.
Every time in the studio is an album. That's
we do an album a day, really.
Think of an album.
Every week you're recording an
album.
And
basically.
2 TV shows. That's what I think surprises people the most. When I tell them, like, what's the biggest secret of The Voice? It doesn't stop. You see 2 shows a week. If you watch, you see 2 shows a week.
It's not magic.
But it literally, and after the season's over, the other season is already overlapping underneath. You know, the search continues. It doesn't stop. The rest of the band doesn't get the blessing of the break that we get sometimes to go and do other things. They're constantly going.
The band actually, so that's something to know. The background singers are brought in during, like, the battles or the knockout rounds, depending on which season and what, like, you know, what type of structure they want for that season in particular. So for us, we get half a season. The boys get a full season. I say the boys, I just mean the band. And they're full time. I mean, I think they get something crazy like 3 weeks off a year, maybe. And a lot of times it's getting, like, rescheduled or something happened where a coach needs to do this because they have a tour and something came up and now they only have these days, and so everybody scrambles and rearranges. And
so you guys are this recording part. Take me through a day. Take me through a day on set, for instance. So you do all this recording. You have you have rehearsals. Yeah,
can we take you through, like, Wednesday to Tuesday?
Yeah.
Tuesday's the results show. Right. So I think the quickest way to explain it, probably, you guys can help.
Well, what happens in your rehearsal?
And I also wanted to say something when you first said, like, what does it entail? And I feel like the main word, honestly, is support. Like, the main word is support.
I'm glad you said that.
That's a good one.
You know what? Like, that's just what came to my mind. Because even though, you know, we obviously can all stand on our own, you know, in a strong way. But who we are all together as a unit is really support for the singers. And now, what I'm even realizing now with the contestants even more recently, and maybe I think we should all feel like commended, is that they kind of look to us now. You know, like, they come to us and they'll be like, are we singing this right? Like, does it sound okay? Or and I mean, of course, that happens anyway, because you're very self-conscious as a contestant. You don't know. People are telling you one thing, but you feel you're another thing.
Out of nowhere with no experience.
Yeah, they have nothing, no foundation.
Right.
But I think that we all come off very sure of ourselves and very certain
and very consistent.
You know? What our job is.
Been a unit for
you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Not only as ourselves, but what our job is. I think we really know how to be a column in this whole foundation of what The Voice really is. And so I think that's the only thing that comes to my mind.
I'm so glad you actually said that,
you know?
because I had a couple questions and you actually answered it in that one statement. So thank you. And I think people really, you know, I think that's a testimony to not only The Voice, but any sort of background work.
Absolutely.
What we are essentially as singers, what background singers do is provide that support. And we're the rock. We're kind of the solid, consistent thing on stage, whether it's the artist or we have to be that, like you said, a column, this sort of very strong.
Well, we're still humans, you know? I mean, singers have so much demand on our throats. And this is intense. I mean, people that aren't used to LA air. I mean, I was sick for 2 years when I first moved here. If I had to jump on a plane and come out here and sing the way these contestants do, I mean, it's inevitable that somebody's going to fall, you know, like at the wrong time. And we have that ability, and we also have that, you know, that relationship, I think, with everybody within the show, because we're not changing a lot of structure in the show. You know, I mean, it's the same band, it's the same bosses, it's the same studio guys. I mean, like Appleberry, he's produced all the iTunes stuff from the beginning, and Paul Merkovich has did every song since the beginning. It's nice. You know, we have these pillars, so we have and we have that consistency in those relationships to be able to support these babies when they fall, you know?
So take me through a day on set, or a day in rehearsal. So you guys show up,
Well,
the band's already, just typically like,
I think Wednesday is helpful.
Just, yeah.
Wednesday, yeah.
So the band.
because I want the viewers to know, like, really what you guys do. Like, I want them to get a visual.
Okay.
Because we can't get in that studio. So.
Our week begins on Wednesdays.
Okay.
So we have the bands and the coaches and the contestants are all choosing songs, scrambling, coming up with a nice 2-minute version of the song or 2:30. Getting them cleared, getting like maybe gender changes cleared to go with the artist, like all these different
figuring
things
out what fits
scrambling.
all the artists. Basically.
So and then sometimes something gets cleared, something doesn't get cleared. We change songs.
Calling
So
the
Wednesday's
actual
a long
artist
day.
who's saying it and saying, please, can we just
Really?
watch it? Do you like this contestant? It depends if they
Wow.
like the contestants. Are they going to represent
Annie Lennox
them?
cleared one a while ago because she absolutely loved Michelle. And it was like she had never cleared a song for the show before.
Yeah.
Michelle Shamuel was doing that song and she was like, she can do it.
Personally,
That was cool.
Paul McCartney's personally cleared songs.
Yeah, Paul McCartney.
It's so cool.
Been great.
Rob
crazy.
Temperton.
It's interactive. Very interactive.
Yeah.
And so you guys, these songs get cleared, and do you come in already with
Well, the three of us are doing a side rehearsal on Wednesdays to get our background vocals. So as the day goes on, we're getting emails, we're getting confirmations of lists and songs and cuts and keys and all the things that we need to know so that we can sort ourselves out. And Thursday we come in and we do second rehearsal with the artist. So then...
How do you come up with all your parts?
The three of us scramble, and then we have an idea and a knowledge of the original song.
Kind of learn, we learn the
Paul
foundation of the song,
Okay.
and then sometimes, even within a day, after they at least decide the song, then they kind of they can, or they have the option, if they want to, do their own rendition. And so sometimes that changes,
And you guys have to be...
So usually, Thursday we'll say, this artist sings like that, and we'll change our voice and change the style.
To know their characters.
Yeah.
Too,
right.
Exactly.
Right.
Wow.
And then, the next day we record the whole
and then Friday.
I laid a whole album down.
Oh.
So that it can be processed over the weekend and cleared.
I'll tell you what's going on today. So, like, being in the studio today, the band is over in another room. It's a bigger room, recording all the live music. So they're all plugged in, chimed in, playing it down. Then they have another room where Bill Appleberry is with the lead singers, and they're recording all of their leads, singing them down. Then they've got, like, Bill's elves, all the studio guys back there comping, editing the vocals, getting it together to bring to us.
Right away,
And then once it gets to us, then we lay everything in, and they ship it out to edit, mix, and send it to iTunes.
And it seems like there's a break there.
Because then,
the show side takes over the rest of our
then it shows in.
And then Saturday
morning,
camera
bright
blocking.
and early, blocking.
Rehearsing, camera blocking, getting every
And how long
song
is
perfect.
that day?
Oh, those
The
can be
whole
long.
day.
It ranges.
It
ranges.
And then sometimes, I don't know if they still do this, I remember in season 2, a choreographer would show up and be like,
we need you to come down stage, and we want you to be a part of this, and it's song-to-song basis, so
you
that's
never know
always fun.
You never know. And
Yeah,
it's
typically
it's
when there's a little bit less artists, like contestants.
They
it's
try
kind
to
of like
start to get a little more
top 10.
artistic.
And they have more length of a song. They have more time
on
to
stage.
sing, so
that's true too.
How do you guys... So you do Saturday, Sunday, you shoot Monday, Tuesday.
Yeah, dress rehearsal Monday morning, shoot
again
Monday night, dress
on
rehearsal
Wednesday.
Tuesday morning.
With rehearsals, and you're back into this.
Sometimes we get to sleep in on Wednesdays.
Yeah, we sleep in on Wednesdays.
Yay! So it's time for rest.
So
sometimes
but it's crazy because you have, as a singer,
don't let you take Thanksgiving off. Because then Friday's 2 days.
Well, I wanted to get into how you guys. I wanted to get into quickly how do you survive that week, vocally, physically,
goes back
mentally.
to that key word, I think.
Health,
support.
Yeah, support.
If
Support,
one of
and
us is
definitely
down.
within each other. Yeah, there you go, Kara. That is true, though.
I mean, you three work so
and
well
they
together.
Keep food there. That's so important for my health.
I
run out.
Stevie.
Yes.
We will lose him.
I've run out.
If Stevie's like, I need food, like he'll just be very quiet. If he's like,
real
I need
quiet.
food, we're like,
I
okay,
always think he's
what
mad
do
at
you
me.
need?
No,
What do you need?
I have said something that pissed him
It's
off.
always
I don't
me.
know.
And you're like, somebody,
The boy is on fire.
Why
He's
did
not
you
communicating.
Do
I
they
just,
still have,
you know,
do they
it's
still have a
hard.
little Starbucks?
Yeah, we have
Yes.
Starbucks.
They
That's
know
fun.
it.
That is life. That is life. That's life, girl.
When you sing, you need to sleep and eat.
Thank you.
And
That's it. Yeah.
let me tell you.
Oh, perfect timing.
Oh.
Cameraman. No, so Soundcheck vocals is Stevie's vocal spray.
Great.
Now, this will be on my stand. This just came out 2 weeks ago, so
Yeah.
season 7 is the first season that we even have this to
Very
try.
excited about it. I put my favorite things into a spray:
Soundcheck
eucalyptus,
vocals.
aloe vera, menthol.
And you've
combined
been working on this for a minute.
Yeah,
Actually, we've been
I
talking
have.
for a minute.
Meaning-
I've
and
got
it's-
10 songs to record.
I'm very happy, and it's FDA approved, and it's all natural.
Yes.
And I'm
Actually,
very
I really
happy
like
about
this
it.
one.
Very happy.
Everybody's hating on Jazzberry. It's my very
do you
favorite.
guys have
Who's hating on it?
I love it. Everybody likes the rock wintergreen. As a rocker myself,
I
I'm
prefer
down with
You're down
Jazzberry.
with Jazzberry.
I think rock
Strawberry.
wintergreen.
Do you guys have other, in addition to now adding Soundcheck to your
Our
your
little
bag,
regimen.
your little regimen? What other things do you guys do? I mean, you said obviously sleep.
I have a doctor in my bag.
An ENT.
Yeah.
We have actually, and honestly, that's one thing I will
Ooh.
say is our doctors
Oh,
are
man.
so
Lifelines.
amazing.
Yeah.
That they get us in last minute if we need. They are
Yeah.
asking what we're doing. They wonder how we're feeling. They wonder where whatever's feeling is feeling. I mean, it's just they're
Denosh was there.
very supportive as
was-
well.
yeah.
But health.
Our doctor.
You can't really get sick. Like I've gotten
man.
sick.
Yeah.
I've had emergencies, of course.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've all
And
had
you
our fair
guys-
share.
And
but
you guys are such a tight team that
We can cover.
You guys cover each other.
Yes.
We can
And
match
that's-
each
we can
other's
cover.
voices
That's the
pretty
key
well.
Yes.
to an amazing background
Yeah.
unit. I mean, any
Mhm.
singer or any situation, being able to hold each other down.
Absolutely.
I wanted to ask about, especially in this gig, you guys sing every kind of music, every style. You know, you guys flip parts all the time.
yeah.
Mhm.
We do.
Did you guys already come to this gig with that type of vocal flexibility? Has it grown as you've done this gig?
I didn't
imagine
grow
it has.
Mine's grown since I've
quite a
been
bit,
here.
yeah.
I
Because
came
I
with a
wasn't
lot,
a
but I
soprano.
was
Like
like-
I was not a soprano.
Oh yeah. No, you weren't a soprano.
I'm a mezzo. I'm not a
But
soprano.
she's a
yeah.
soprano.
But now you are.
Yeah,
But
that's
now
so
you
definitely.
are.
Yeah,
She really
but
is.
wow. I mean, geez, it's the stamina.
Mhm.
That's
yeah.
what it's built. Is the
Mhm.
stamina. Like when people are like, "You're gonna be singing," I'll be like, "Okay."
Well, and I thought I knew. Like, I came in thinking I knew stuff.
Yeah.
You know, like, I came into this gig like, I got this. You know,
Yeah.
like, I've listened to some songs, and, you know, I
Yeah.
grew up singing in church, and I got the bar
Mhm.
scene on under my belt, and I've done some
Yeah.
cover gigs. You know, I think, like, I've got it. And then when I look back on the last 2 years, the singer that I have become,
Right.
because of the people
Yeah.
that I've been around, I
Yeah.
mean, whether it be, clearly it's these two,
Mhm.
obviously, like, first, these three, really,
Right.
because you've taught me so much in season 2. The three of you guys, and then moving on to the contestants, and Paul being our MD. I mean, I've learned so much from everybody.
Yeah.
I am 10 times the
fountain of
vocalist that I
knowledge.
was.
And you
Yeah,
coach
me
a
too.
lot of
Yeah.
people.
Me
We come
too.
to you. I mean, you coach us through. You work with people on American Idol and Glee, and you do every. You really can help anyone sing everything. From a mentoring position, how important would you say, and how easy? Do you think it's easy for people to just be able to sing any kind of? I mean, I think this is a very special thing, and I don't think many people can fit this chair. We already, we went through trying to find,
Never letting it go. Talk about Usher.
But I think that prevents people from being able to work a lot, is not having that flexibility.
Getting to know your voice all the way is so important. Just being competent as a singer, not only knowing the songs, and on my end, my challenge was I didn't know songs that well. I didn't know a lot of songs.
Well, we
I
grew up
up
at
listening to
the SDA.
very
Yeah.
limited
Yeah.
listening, very good music, but not broad.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
And so I had to learn songs. That's my biggest challenge. That's the job of singers,
Yeah.
to learn songs
Yeah.
It is.
and to make them.
Yeah.
So that is what I've learned the most.
Wow.
I have to learn songs, or else nobody knows you're a singer. It's like being a wonderful painter and having no canvas.
No
Nobody
colors.
knows.
No,
Yeah.
So
yeah.
that's
Absolutely.
important. Learning
That's
songs, and then
Absolutely.
being a character, knowing your voice, knowing the bad and the good. A lot of people don't come to me and don't know their voice.
Right.
They
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
know. Oh, this is a new area of my voice. It's very hard for me to find a new area of my voice.
Right.
I know the
Right.
bad, up, down,
Upside,
sideways,
underneath,
how it's gonna
as you know,
sweep.
yeah.
I know it's gonna come out usually, and so there's less surprises.
Right.
So it's not about being perfect or being very good. It's just knowing it, knowing a friend. Your friend is gonna mess up, but you know them,
Right.
and so you still have them as a friend because you decided.
And
that
you're able
person
to
will
able
make
to
you
navigate. You're able to
good. Navigate. Yeah.
challenge yourself or grow
Absolutely.
once you
Yeah.
know
And
where
be
you're
humbled
at.
too.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
Yeah.
I think we all have stresses in different genres that we
Yeah.
all know very well, and
Mhm.
maybe way better than another.
Yeah.
So being humbled enough to work as a team,
Yes,
and just being like, okay,
definitely,
wait, what would you
definitely.
do?
What
Like,
would
that
you do?
makes
How do I say
sense.
that
what do
one?
I sound like
How
right
do
now?
I
'Cause
say
I
that?
really
It's fun for us. That's
So
like the
yeah.
fun part of
Yeah.
it. You know, that's like an exciting exciting thing because
Yes.
we're learning. So we're like, oh my God, okay, cool.
And
You
you
know,
get
I'll
to
do
this
this, I'll do
point,
that.
you get to this point in your career and you're like, well, I mean, gosh, the resume here in this room alone is crazy. So you could have the attitude like, well, I don't really need to learn anything.
Entitled,
But you
yeah.
can always
Oh, man.
always grow.
I
Always
wanna-
push yourself.
I'm about to
Always
tackle
challenge
opera.
yourself.
Yes.
Out and left.
Yes.
I want to get more into
Yeah.
coaching, so you
Come
can take
on,
me
girl.
there.
Yeah, it's real.
I want to ask a question.
Yeah.
This show is obviously called The Voice, and I started the article just by saying like, finally, a show about The Voice. And there's so many things that artists deal with commercially. You know, your look, your size, your height, your age. You know, your sexual preference, what orientation, like whatever it is. There's all these things that prevent amazing, talented singers from getting out there.
Yeah.
I will say one of the things that I dealt with when I was growing up is that everybody got in my behind about being vocally like really strong. Like at one point when there were certain singers out, like the Monicas and the Brandys, who were just these young girls who had riffs for days. I didn't have riffs. I didn't have all that stuff. And it was like, that was what I was being measured against. And then now you have this other type of singer who's like about their vibe and their tone, and it's, you know, and you have some other artists who are less vocally agile or don't do all that vocal acrobatics.
Right.
You know, and it's interesting that a lot of commercial singers now, or a lot of singers that are coming up looking at these artists like, oh, I don't really have to be able to sing. I can just put on and color my hair and wear a certain thing or launch a YouTube channel and get views. How important do you think it's still important to maintain vocal integrity as artists, and especially now when you have a show like The Voice? Do you think it's still important to be a strong singer?
I absolutely do.
And you could be honest, like this is just...
Now for me, coming from a little bit of like a more organic, like not very trained background, I was trained like church and all that stuff and choir, but like, you know, nobody would coach me. I was in a small town and there wasn't like a huge vocal community where I grew up. And I think that it's important to know your voice. I don't think you necessarily have to do the Christinas and the Whitneys and be able to go all crazy and do all these things. I think that shouldn't make you feel like you're not good enough, but I do think you need to know your voice. Right. You need to know that when you're singing, it's like Phoebe on Friends. Like, she's singing Smelly Cat, and then they bring in a voiceover, and it's like, oh my god, it sounds so good. You know, it's like, I mean, like, after you go through all these buttons and knobs, you're gonna sound like the bomb, you know? But it's, I think knowing your voice and knowing who you are and what your character is key. Tell a story. Right. If you can't sing and run, you better be able to tell a story.
But we should all be able to basically sing in key, right?
I would hope so, yes. But, you know.
Well, there's some people that...
The way I feel about this is so bittersweet. I love artistry. No, I'm serious. I love artistry. I think I'm so intrigued by people who are just so sure of themselves. I'm intrigued by that. I think that's amazing because especially now, I mean, everyone wants to be like something else now. Right. So I think that's really cool when someone starts their own trend or, I mean, kind of like is a pioneer for something, which I can respect and appreciate. However, I do have issues when we're putting these people in singer categories. Okay. Right. Yeah. And so I think this is when there's a challenge with someone who is a singer but who also wants to be an artist. Right. As far as a pioneer of many things and not only their voice, because I feel like it almost limits people who are like ourselves that can just sing. We don't have to. We can be behind a curtain, and probably at least pray that more than 10 people can feel our heart. Right. It's not about ourselves. It's really about the fact that we love it so much and however we feel about it or whatever's exuding, whether it's a sad song, a happy song, or, you know. Absolutely. And so I think my issue is that now they've completely taken that. And I say I really don't want to say labels, but I have to because, I mean... The industry has kind of like separated it and almost made it harder for the ones that really just kind of like can
without
sing,
the
but
bells
just
and
might
whistles.
need a pair of heels and like a nice outfit.
Right.
And just be like, girl, okay, we'll put this on you, but just sing. I don't know. Don't dance. Don't do anything. Just sing. Have
There's a few that
charisma.
slip through the cracks.
Yeah,
Adele.
and that's
She got her,
unfortunate.
You know, like,
Mhm.
a couple people got through.
Do you think The Voice is a show that has given that opportunity?
I do. I feel like there are more same thing artists, and I see a lot of. I mean, a lot of people, of course, are still finding their way, but I do see a lot of people who are certain in their artistry and can sing.
Yeah.
And can actually sing.
Did any of you guys ever think about auditioning for the show?
I did.
Thought about
Did
it.
you?
I did.
I never did,
auditioned.
y'all.
You know
Never
what's
did.
funny is I knew the band because the band at The Voice was Cher's band, and I
Right.
got to like sub
Right.
in and sing with Cher at the Vegas show.
That's right.
So I knew the band, and I had talked to Paul. Paul was like, "I'd really like you to be a singer for season 2, you know, because season 1 I was with Cocker."
Mhm.
So I came and I went to a barbecue actually at Justin, the guitar player's house, and I was like, "Paul, I'm auditioning for the show, and Justin's gonna play for me," and he's like, "All right, well, if you make it, awesome. If you don't make it, awesome. 'Cause you're hired." And I was like, okay. And I did not make it. I mean, like, but that's the thing, you know. I mean, there's no story.
But you
I
made
have
it.
no story, you know.
You're
like,
just good and pretty and
I mean, my parents
I
love
mean-
me, and like, you know, like life is good. You know, I
Whatever.
moved out here and I got a gig.
I don't get that though. You can,
But you know what?
Anyway,
though? There's
Right.
something to it, and what I will say is knowing yourself as an artist, because what I didn't know 2 years ago is what I have now.
yeah.
Yeah.
You know, like I have a story now, and I've gotten through surgeries and all these things, and
Yeah.
I think we could. It's a learning curve, but you have to know yourself. I
You
would have
do.
been one of them. I'd have been the nice karaoke singer that came in and sang my song, and you know, trusted everything everybody else said, and wore whatever
Yeah.
they told me to wear, and like it would have been a different. It just would have been a different path, you know. And
Do you guys see some of
Okay.
the? You guys watch
I
the
didn't know
contestants night after night. You see them running around, backstage, on stage. Like,
yeah,
is there anything that you see that are mistakes that they are making? Not necessarily vocally, or it could be anything.
Yeah.
Really.
yeah, I see a lot.
Yeah, they mess up. And
Yeah.
these are mistakes that they're going to have to learn. And,
Hard lessons.
yeah, themselves.
Is there any advice that because you're
Well,
like I said, you're
Who am I to keep someone from their struggle in a way?
Right.
Especially in this. Like, you see them go do things and they might go out and party and sneak away or whatever. You see different things, you're like, okay, well, it's not, I'm not in charge of them.
right.
Yeah,
But we watch and it's
Right.
like, okay, now that's going to mess this up and then
Yeah.
they'll lose the
Right.
person here.
and
then-
you start to
but
see.
they don't know the words because they didn't go stay and study. They didn't do their
Mm.
warm-ups this morning. Their voice is going to get tired. Well, don't rehearse that song again.
Right.
Your voice is tired here.
Stand
Just
up
listen
and
to
say
it.
I'm tired.
Just listen to it. You don't have to go over it again.
And a lot of
Yeah.
that
Certain
stuff
things,
is
I see it coming and we'll
Yeah.
talk about it.
Honestly,
We've seen it.
And honestly,
It's painful to watch, though.
It is. It's
Oh.
painful to watch
It is.
because it's kind of like we're sitting back here learning while you're messing up, or and I
Right.
don't want to say messing up, but
Yeah.
while you're not necessarily honoring yourself.
right.
You know what I mean? In whatever facet it is. So whether it's you being upset and letting your emotions get the best of you, or you not warming up, like you said, but it's
Yeah.
just
The most
It's-
common thing to me is
It
someone
sounds
giving
like-
1,000,000% the day before they have to sing,
Mm.
and they already, if they had a good run through, if they're giving 1,000,000%, they're just giving it all they got.
Mm.
Okay, let me do it again. Why? You really know
Nailed it.
what did you
Go
do
home,
wrong?
yeah.
Go study that and go to sleep.
Yes.
Go
yeah.
to sleep. Just
But
stop.
It sounds like everything. I mean, because to me that's common sense, but that's common sense after being in this
Yeah.
game for so long and
Yeah.
just learning it, right?
Yeah.
So these people are being plucked from their homes all across America and thrown into this
It's so
pot.
overwhelming too,
And-
mind you. I mean, like,
They won't.
I don't know what. Honestly, I can't even
if
like
I would have come
fault
here,
them. To
Yeah.
be honest,
Well,
like
that's what
it's
I'm
not
saying,
a
because
fault. It's
How
like
could you know?
Yeah.
it's like they're learning.
Right,
they are.
All we can do, like we said before, is like when they come over, it's kind of like, okay, well, you have this option, you have this option, or you have this. How does this feel? What do you think? And I mean, that's the only way we can respectfully, like around their
Right,
sensitivity
because-
and their,
yeah,
their vulnerability,
And
kind of
there
like
are-
help guide.
And there are coaches and other people
Right.
that
Yeah.
are really ideally, but it just comes back to what you said so well and so eloquently about your role. And that's really the
Right.
purpose and the point of
Know
why
your
I wanted
role.
to speak to you guys.
Know
because-
your role.
Because you guys hold it down. You are the
Mm.
fort. You are the backbone. I mean, even
Yeah.
though we are background, but we are the backbone, essentially. You guys are the support.
right.
When they don't have it, I mean, do you remember season 2, Christina was supposed to perform and she couldn't, what were they doing? the free of mind, the
Oh,
Vogue thing,
the
and she had no voice.
Yeah.
And then Paul was like, "Here, Denosh, can you see?" And I had to block.
Yes.
I've never sung that song in my
Wow.
life.
Yes.
I always sang it in falsetto.
Yes.
And
That's
by
so
the grace
true.
of God,
Hey,
and
we've
Something
all-
about those lights. Something about those lights.
Lights.
When it's time, we have all been one of the coaches. How does it feel?
Yes.
We
I
took
did
care of
Christine.
stuff.
I
You
did
guys have
Christine.
to be
Yeah.
called on. You're already
We have to
singing
know the
24
songs.
hours a day, 7 days.
Yeah.
Everybody's
You
part.
have to know all the songs. You have to know every part. You got to take care of yourself. Oh, and then you got to look cute.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
God.
then you have to care about what
I'm
you
cute.
look like. after
I'm
being
juicing
tired.
for
You got to
life.
juice. You got to eat right. You got to sleep. You guys
I
have
love
to do
eating.
everything. And
It's
you have to do
real.
this all
Painful.
because at the end of the day, you guys are the real, the meat of it.
Yeah.
And the show, I said this in the article, the show wouldn't function,
And also one other thing that they don't show a lot is the coaches behind the show. There are a team of coaches, and the main one, Treylani Rose, she's
Yes,
the leader.
Trey.
Of the
Right,
coaches.
of course.
Yes.
Of course.
Trey
Yeah,
is
yeah.
amazing.
She's a godsend. She's a godsend for us too.
Yeah.
I mean, like she'll come over and she has a way.
checks in.
Because
Yeah,
we
that's
all
great.
help in a way, but she's getting she's on it, she knows
Yeah.
every voice.
Mm-hmm.
She's it's like that could be a whole other show.
Yeah,
Right.
What
Could
she
be.
does with them.
Right.
So
Well, because she's emotional support. I mean,
Yeah.
my God,
Which is
she's
very
emotional
when
support.
they break down, they all break down. at
They
some
all
point.
have a moment. You
Yeah.
know
And
what I
then
mean?
she's just
Yeah.
standing there in the middle of the stage hugging every season. It's like certain you could pinpoint when it's
You
going to
know
happen.
it.
in the
Yeah,
season.
you know
But I
it.
think we've
That is
all
true.
had that on a gig where you're like,
Oh.
Lord, take the
Yeah.
wheel. Where you,
Yeah.
but I
When
think
you're
it is
learning
We
that
both
very-
cried
fast.
together.
Yeah.
Right.
I've cried at both of
For
them. I
real.
won't speak for
But I
anybody
think
else,
it's
but
awesome that the three of you, not only in your own right, are amazing talents, but you
Thank
have,
you.
together, you have this brilliant synergy, which, it's like, we done gigs where you've been like,
Yeah, you're definitely like,
Yeah.
when
Yeah.
does it end?
because
No,
your
knowing.
team, you're only as good as your team.
Yeah.
Like if the person on the left is singing flat, well, you're singing flat too.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
You guys have to work
Mhm.
together. And with that, I want to ask if you would share something vocally with us. Please. Do we need a little? Hold on, we
Let me get that sound check.
We're gonna sound
Pour it
check.
over here.
We're gonna
We
sound
actually
check.
didn't-
Do the Ed Sheeran thing.
Yeah, can we do?
Into that.
Oh,
What
boy.
do you say?
Ed?
Starting on the give a little time, right on it.
Oh yeah, that was so. We don't have a. I love these singers because they're like in their key reference.
Is that all right? It's a little early, I guess.
As long as no one's on like,
Maybe it's
Go
a little
lower.
lower.
Give a little time to me.
Yeah.
yeah, I like that.
Dun, 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 1, 4. Give a little time to me.
Burn this out, we'll play hide and seek. Turn this around, all I want is the taste that your lips allow. My, give me love, my, give me love, my, give me love.
Thank you. I love you guys so
Thank
much.
you, Denosh.
This
Thank
is really
you.
fun.
This is the real. Come on, you guys heard it.
Yes.
These are the real
you, Greg.
voices of the voice LA. Love you guys.